Well, I'm here, Bill Molyneux of Bill's History and Wargame World, and I'm with Ken at Jerusalem Mills. And Ken, take it away.
Good day. Welcome to the very friendly village of Jerusalem Mill. I am portraying David Lee of 1772, who came to work here from Bucks County, Pennsylvania with his good family, settled along the Gunpowder River, a great flowing river, a wonderful resource for turning the wheels of a mill. The area filled with farmers' fields of wheat needed a place to have that ground into flour, and I supplied that human service very kindly and very gratefully. We began very small originally, but where you have a mill, you needed to have a blacksmith, and indeed in our village we have a working blacksmith to this day. Where you have a mill and a blacksmith, you needed to have at least a cooper for the barrels of wheat. We had a cooper on the grounds. If you had a cooper, you needed wood. If you had the mill, you needed wood. You needed a sawmill. Once was a sawmill right next to the mill. The mill was built according to the designs of Oliver Evans of England, who came forth to the Ellicott brothers of Bucks County, my cousins, who came west as well to form their mill along the Great Patapsco River, hence the story of Ellicott City. But we are here in Jerusalem Mill welcoming our guests to a place where the Quakers were very much at peace and very much willing to serve.
Wow, and in this room, can I go ahead and scan and tell me,
please,
is there, what is really, I see a musket over there, and oh my God, it's Goober the Traveling Bear has
Hi.
followed me to Jerusalem Mills, and I see a musket. I have a couple people that love my videos when I hit military weapons.
Hi.
Would you mind giving us a little history on what we have in this display case?
Well, the story here is, of course, this is a brown vest, which would have been popular at the time of the mills being built. We were pre-revolution, and of course through the revolution and beyond. There was a story that once with the great black walnuts growing in the area that a craftsman was able to craft gun stocks for guns, perhaps that might have been shipped and made part of the gunnery for the American revolutionary effort. Albeit us being Quakers, more peace-loving, not so much inclined towards warfare, this was of course something that was probably still happening in our area. What you see are many relics from over the years, from the 1700s to 1960, when this mill was still in existence. So that meant we were here, yes indeed, during the Civil War. And there was some action here as well. We had a rebel raid come right through here and raid the store before the Confederate soldiers headed north to Joppa to take care of business, derailing the rail, burning down the railroad bridges, and in their process captured General Franklin of the Union Army, who later escaped, I must say. I must also say that the land that you travel in this area is filled with other outbuildings as well. We have a working craftsman who was a woodworker, a joiner, and he does demonstrate here on weekends as well. We have the original David Lee's colonial home right behind a stone house where indeed I and my family lived, and they do demonstrate colonial cooking over the open fire on the weekends as well. The working blacksmith is here Saturdays and Sundays. The general store that was later built along the road in early 1800s is up the road, and it's an open and working museum and store. The grounds are part of the state parks of Maryland, so we have cross trails coming all the way through. We have one of the only existing covered bridges in Baltimore County crossing the Gunpowder River just adjacent to us. I myself, as the merchant miller, became wealthy enough to have a mansion built. It's on our grounds. It's now restored into its colonial finery, and it's going to be added to our museum very soon for tours.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right.
What you have here is where the milling occurred. The great mighty millstones, as they turned, were turned by the water wheels that are below the mill. were one of the few mills where the water wheels were internal and the gunpowder flowed in underneath us through a channel.
Now, did that allow you to keep the mill running during the winter?
Yes, absolutely. Not only that, it kept the wheels in a much greater shape over a greater amount of time.
Well, we did a video in Edinburgh Mill in Virginia, and they had a ghost story where a young man was caught in the mill grindstones. Do we have any ghost stories here?
Well, the only ghost stories that exist have been disproven over and over, yet people still insist on believing that the cover bridge was possibly a site where there were some hangings, possibly of what would have been a runaway slave. The mill was not built until after the war was over and emancipation had long occurred. So that's the story that seems to draw people, spooky as it is. It's been disproven.
Disproven. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to tie this video in with some more during the day. And thank you for your time, and you're very informative. It's great meeting you.
Outstanding.
And thank you for being nice to Goober the Traveling Bear.
Good day, Goober. Good day, sir.
All right. Well, this is what the mill looks like in this diorama form. And we have permission to go below and see what the inner workings look like. I'll pause the camera here. All right, well, we're down below the mill, and they have how the mill wheel would look. And what's interesting is this mill would be able to run through the winter and keep the mill running. So besides grinding up the grain, it could also power tools, machinery for the gunsmith. And it is pretty nifty down here. They got everything shorn up, and it looks like they've got the drying out from the water damage over the years. And it's quite impressive of the work they've done to restore this. Well, that's about it for the mill area basement, and we'll add this to some other videos. All right, well, we're here at another display case. Take it away.
Well, Baltimore Hebrew congregations of the 1800s soon found out that the flour that was being milled here was very fine and very pure. They had invented a special process of taking the flour, which filled with its debris and bits of things and chaff, and shaking it through vats and filters and hoppers of white silk. So hence, it was named white silk flour, and this is the original signia, the original logo for that brand. The Baltimore Hebrew congregations found that it was so pure that it was indeed deemed kosher and became a very active trade with Jerusalem Mill, albeit a Quaker mill, processing very pure flour for another family of faith in Baltimore as well.
Well, that's a great story. My wife would be very happy to hear this story and see this case, and I'm hoping to bring her along for my next visit. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Well, here I am at one of the historic buildings at Jerusalem Mills, and the door's open. Let's see what's going on inside this historic building. And oh my goodness, it's Miss Betsy is here, and
Hello.
She's with Goober the Traveling Bear. There he is. And could you tell me a little bit about this incredible little building you have here?
So this little building we believe was built before the mill, which was built in 1772, I believe. And this house was used as a home, a cooper shop, and a cider press during its lifetime. Currently, we do living history demonstrations here, cooking, and we have a leather smith that comes and works here as well. And we have demonstrations on various projects that you could have done. We make seed packets, we have a garden out back, and we cook tavern night dinners here as well.
Very nice. Well, It's a well-stocked room, and it looks like you have a lot of nice drinking mugs. Is there some ale in here that Goober could test?
Not today.
No,
I'm
no, because
sorry, no ale.
he's been to the Rising Sun Tavern in Fredericksburg, and they never seem to have ale there either. So he's going to be grumpy once again. Is there anything here you'd like to point out that I'm looking
I would
at?
just like to say that all the dishes and the plates and the bowls we have way too many for a household in the 18th century. But the reason we have all those is we do entertain, and we have lots of people that come, and we want to make sure we have enough dishes for everyone.
Very nice. Well, this is and I see you have a clay pipe above the.
We do indeed. We have a clay pipe. We have all our cooking accoutrement. We have lots of cutting boards. We do a lot of cooking in here. And we do cooking in the summertime. We cook outside in our fire pit.
You don't make bear steaks, though, right?
No, but I like bear bacon.
Oh, okay. Well, this has just been a treat. Everyone's been fantastic here at Jerusalem Mills, and we're going to keep adding all these videos together at the end of the day, and I will edit them. Can you tell us a little bit about where we're located and the hours of the museum?
So we're in Kingsville, Maryland. We're right off 95. And we are open Sundays 1 to 4 for living history interpretations. And then sometimes on Saturdays, the blacksmiths will be in and the folks at the general store as well.
Okay, and where is the French encampment for the French reenactors?
I don't know. We'll have to find one.
And people who watch my video will know what that is all about. And so we're going to pause this video and visit some more sites of Jerusalem Mills. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're about to go into the general store. So, of course, this was a site of a Civil War action. Well, the uniform is really neat. And,
Right, this is a reproduction, obviously, of Gilmore's uniform. It matches the picture that we have on me,
Okay.
which is on the front of one of the books about Gilmore.
Now I'm going to back up a little bit, just scan this room. So you got to come to Jerusalem Mills, and where else would you like to take Goober and I around in our building here?
Okay, well, we do have we have a Chesapeake 9 baseball team that plays vintage baseball here in the summer. That's their uniform. They're in a regular league. They play 1860 rules, no gloves. If they catch it on the first bounce, fair or foul, you're still out. It's a unique thing to see. We can head back to the McCourtney room.
All right, I'll pause our video. All right, well, we're in the next room. Take it away, Glenn.
This room is dedicated to Sam McCourtney. He was the storekeeper from 1906 to 1939. And when he passed away, the store was divided into apartments and didn't become a store again until the Friends of Jerusalem Mill restored it about 12 years ago. He was a unique person in that he was a big-time hiker, which we like to show the hikers that come through here to do the trails. Every year on his birthday, this is when he was in his 80s, he would hike from here down to what's today's Inner Harbor and back all in one day.
Wow. Well, how many miles is that?
About 16 to 18, depending on how direct route you take.
Okay.
And the Sun paper would do an article on him every year that he did this. He just did it the one day a year, so he could build up for it. But he would leave like 3 o'clock in the morning, stop and have breakfast with someone. Usually the mayor would meet him for lunch, and then he'd walk back. But when he hit 86 or 87, the family's not too sure, his nephew went down in a car and brought him back, so he only walked one way.
Okay. And what do we have in this display case?
Well, he was a violinist. Even his family admits not too good.
Okay.
And we have a sword from the Mexican War. McCourtney's uncle wanted to fight in the Mexican War. This would have been the 1840s. But he said he wouldn't go off to war until he had his own sword made. And he played it very well because when the sword was finished and complete, the Mexican War was over. So he never had to go to fight.
So he never had to go to war.
And he passed it on to his nephew, Samuel.
Now, what's this big metal box sitting here?
This was the safe that actually sat in the store itself, and it's a book safe, not a money safe.
Okay.
Samuel McCourtney never had a cash register. What he had was a ledger book, and he would know all the families around here, so when you came in, he'd just put the name down and what you took. I'm sure if you were out of town, you had to pay, but he just kept things on a ledger, and then either at the end of the month or whenever, they would settle up.
Gosh, Goober's showing up everywhere in this video at Jerusalem Mills. Well, this room is really nifty. What else do we have?
Okay, we've got the store itself.
Okay.
This is a 1930s store. Ah, we have a customer.
And we have a customer. Wow.
So most of these items were items that were donated to the Friends of Jerusalem Mill out of people's attics and basements, things that their grandparents had that they didn't want to throw away. And they gave them to us, so we've saved them.
I'm overwhelmed with all the awesome stuff. I guess, how about we start over there and go around?
Okay.
Is that...
We know what the layout of the store was because McCourtney's granddaughter, who lived to be 100, passed away about 7 years ago, I guess, drew us a diagram of where everything was. So we know, for instance, dry goods were over here,
Okay.
cloth and material, sewing things, and we've basically built our displays about what people were able to contribute to us. One item we have that's a little unique is a corn shucker. It's just a leather strap you wear around your hands with a metal bar like on it, and you scrape corn off of corn cobs if you're going to fry corn or something. A man sent it to us who used to live across the street in the house there, and he says he's 99% sure that his mom bought it here in the store in the 1930s because there wasn't any place else to buy such an item. That's one of the unique things that we have that could pertain to the store. The other would be the post office in the corner back by the window. The post office originated here in the late 1800s, and then this post office closed and it shifted to Franklinville. And when Franklinville closed its post office, he sent us the post office back, figuring it was the original one from here. It's just got about 20 slots in it. About 20 slots in it, and the letters that are in there are representative. They were things either mailed from here or mailed to here, shows and so forth. And Jerusalem had its own postmark.
So this is the post office right here.
Right.
Pretty sophisticated, huh?
Right. Fully automated, as long as your arm doesn't get tired.
Well, this is, how about the stove here?
The stove's not original, but a stove did sit in this spot.
So that would be the area for everyone would be around that during the winter time.
Yes, and it's got a sandbox under it to catch the sparks. One of our original members told the story. He shopped here as a little boy in the 1930s, and there used to be 3 barrels here and a plank of wood. This is where the men would sit and discuss the important events of the day, because men, of course, don't gossip.
Wow, if the walls could talk here, huh?
Right. But he and others remembered you had to come in and you had to go past the bench to get to the penny candy, because the penny candy, everyone agrees the penny candy was in this corner. Some people disagree about some of the other things. But he said he remembered his definition of a man. Now this is when he's late 80s when he told the story. His definition of a man was when you could sit on the bench and your legs were long enough to reach the sandbox.
Oh, let me get a picture of that. All right, so...
And if you could do that, then you could sit with the men. If your legs weren't long enough, you came in and got your penny candy and you went out the door.
Went out the door. All right.
Another feature we have, we try to keep things local, so all the cans up there are Harford County cans from cannery labels. Falston, Aberdeen, Hickory. There are over 150 canneries in Harford County.
Wow.
In fact, the mill had a cannery for a while in one of the buildings, but no label. If you go back to the 1930s, Cal Ripken Sr. played baseball in Aberdeen, And the team was called the Aberdeen Canners because all the local canneries sent their cans to Aberdeen to put them on the train so they could be distributed north and south.
Wow. Well, I'm amazed at everything you have in here, and I see Miss Betsy could get a new pair of shoes. I see a pair of shoes in this case, and
I don't think my hooves are going to fit in those.
You can also repair the shoes. Every home has their own shoe repair.
I'll do just a little.
Curler hair, there's curlers there. They could fix you up.
So
Well,
it's an amazing museum in here. I'm ashamed I have never been here, and I live less than 3 miles away. We're going to go into the next room.
okay, we're in the gift shop here at the general store. This area is dedicated to the products made by our own blacksmiths. We have a variety of men and women blacksmiths. You see the usual that you would expect, pokers and hooks and things like that. A few years ago we had a young 12-year-old girl who used to make courting candles. She was very interested in that because in colonial times you could regulate how long your boyfriend could stay at your house by regulating the height of the candle. But she gave up blacksmithing when I think she was about 15, 16, had to explain to her boyfriend that she was a blacksmith part-time. Then we have other items, some that pertain to the store and the village itself. We have copies of the Johnson Gilmore raid. This is by Daniel Toomey. This gives a summary of the raid that took place in 1864, which some people are very interested in the local
The
history.
local military history of
Right. And well, it's not just military. One of the groups under Johnson's command found a wagon loaded with ice cream, and none of the men had ever seen ice cream before, and they ate it and basically got what we would call brain freeze today.
Well, I have to say, I go to hundreds of gift shops, believe it or not, in probably a year's time of historical sites, and this gift shop is really filled with really neat items. I love these birdhouses. Is someone locally making these?
Yes, they're based when I guess it was about 10 years ago, they redid the covered bridge at Jerusalem Village, and they had wood left over. So we had a couple men that volunteered to make not only bird feeders, but also bird houses, using some of the scrap wood from the...
And mailboxes.
And yeah, mailboxes too, I'm sorry.
Mailboxes too.
But
Wow.
I don't think we have any showing.
Oh, you got penny candy, just like the original general store.
Oh, yes.
Well, and
The kids love that idea.
what do we have down here? I'm going down some stairs.
Okay. Well, on your right, we've got a player piano. The piano itself is in tune and ready to go. It still needs a little work as far as the pumping part does. But again, we have a variety of things, books on historic topics, clothing.
Wow. And they even have some shirts, it looks like.
All around. Jerusalem Mill Village shirt,
Wow.
a unique item.
Really a nice, and I really like how you have a lot of children's books, so the children can get a book to take home and learn more about history. And
We also have tinsmith stuff up here on the tree.
so,
Yeah.
So just this year, one of our blacksmiths has become a tinsmith, and he's made these beautiful ornaments for us to sell in our gift shop. There's
Wow.
icicles and stars, and he's making lanterns and other kind of candlestick holders as well.
so you can get one of these very unique
Yep,
decorations.
and then there's a little candle holder here as well
Oh,
that he's made.
very nice. Well, I'll have your website and everything for Jerusalem Mills on the video, so we can do the, if people would like to purchase one, they can contact you and you can throw it in the mail, correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, this pretty much concludes my tour of Jerusalem Mills, and I want to say thank you to Betsy and Glenn and Ken over at the mill itself. And what would you two like to close out my video with?
Just want to wish everyone a happy holiday and a wonderful new year. And please come visit us. We're ready for you.
All right. Well, and like all my videos, I always like to close out with stay safe, be kind, and be courteous, and be extra kind this time of season. Thank you, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas. All right. Well, as we continue our Jerusalem Mills visit, Miss Betsy's going to tell me about this huge building. And I might have moved that camera too quickly. Miss Betsy, take it away.
So this is the Lee Mansion. The original part of the house was built about 1790, and we've just pretty much finished the restoration with the exception of the corner of this building here and the windows. But we have a gallery in here now, and our current exhibit is from Ephraim Rubenstein. So come on in.
All right. This is so neat to have these tours today at Jerusalem Mills. Wow, I have to just stop, and this reminds me of like my grandparents' home. They were very elderly, and this has that feeling of their porch that they had with the wicker and.
Well, we're going to have the windows restored this spring in this room, and the screening repaired. And then what we plan on having is some afternoon, like lemonade and tea parties, and having ladies in sandwiches and things of that nature.
Any chance you could have the Baldwin sisters here with some of the recipe?
Probably. We can do just about anything we want.
Unfortunately, a lot of people who watch my channel probably have no idea what that meant, but...
Come on in.
All right. Wow, it looks so festive in here.
So if we go to the left, this is the gallery. And these are paintings by Ephraim Rubenstein, and he's been published in all of these printed materials here that you see on the table.
Wow. This room is really neat. You have so much to offer here, and I really need to work to get the word out on your beautiful little village. I had no idea you had a neat little art gallery here and a general store, and you have everything decorated so nice. The fireplace mantle. Wow. All right, I had to stop the camera for a moment. This is a cool painting, and it just has it sort of reminds me of my nightstand. I have probably 12 to 15 books at a time, and each one has a bookmark. So I had to stop and say that looks familiar to my house. All right, Miss Betsy's going to explain this room to us.
So this originally was Dr. Pullen's office while she lived here, but we're using it currently for a display for Christmas, for all our guests, for all our events. We have our lovely mantle that's been decorated, and we can't use a fireplace, so we have our faux fire going on.
Okay, well, you know what? Believe it or not, at Fort Frederick, I do the videos, and people ask me, is that a real fire? So for this video, I can say, it looks like a real fire. What else do we have?
We have this display case that we put together here, and there's different utensils that ladies would have used. There's creamer and pitcher. We had a Dickens tea last weekend, and then we have some Christmas ornaments, a Dickens novel, some ladies' gloves, beaded purses and necklace, and another Dickens novel, and then that beautiful hand-painted cameo pin.
Wow, all right, get a close-up of that.
And then like in the mill building, we have this gown that we are using for display, and this pattern was fashioned after Buchanan's wife's gown that was used for the inauguration. And then we have our Christmas display with all the gifts for Christmas. And
Oh my God, it's Goober the Traveling Bear. He's everywhere at Jerusalem Mills. What is he doing? Miss Betsy, what's he doing?
I think he's on our tricycle. He's trying it out before Christmas.
I hope he doesn't break it.
And then we made these ornaments. We dried citrus fruit, and then we made cinnamon ornaments as well for on our tree this year.
Now, how many people do you have on your volunteer staff? Because there's a lot of work being done here.
We have probably 20 regular volunteers that do living history and different jobs around here. But then we also have a lot of corporate volunteers that come and volunteer and do special projects on site. And then we have what's called Second Saturday Serve. And we have individuals that come from various parishes in the neighboring area, and they come and volunteer and help us with a lot of our yard work and things like that. But we're totally volunteer based here.
Well, can I ask you about what's going on the wall here? And
so we have this evening we have our Dickens cocktail event, and Rebecca, the curator here, has developed a slideshow of different illustrations from A Christmas Carol.
well, it's so unique. It's so nifty, and of all the historic sites I've been to, I don't think I've ever seen anything this unique. It's really neat. You are offering so many glimpses of history here, and this Christmas festive feeling is rampant throughout the site. Where's our next room in the
We're
mansion?
going to go into the dining room. And this is Rebecca and Kristen. They're volunteers here.
Hello.
And they're getting ready for our Dickens cocktail workshop tonight. And they're going to have Smoking Bishop and many other cocktails that were served in Dickens novels.
Are they going to make flip?
I don't know.
Sherry negus, red wine, sangrine, Athol Bros, wassail, ale sangrine, and a smoking bishop,
Ooh, smoking bishop.
which is what I have on the stove right now.
Well, I'm going to walk around a little bit. So this room is stunning. Now, no stucco on the ceiling. That's good. That means the second floor is okay to walk on. Historic sites that have stucco on the ceiling will not allow tourists to walk on the second floor because it messes up the stucco. So this table is set for
Our Dickens Christmas cocktail workshop.
So it's very neat. So you're getting ready, and
They're going to have food.
how many people do you think you'll have here
I
today?
think we'll do 25.
I think it's 25 people.
Okay. Well, thank you for everything you all are doing here.
Thank you.
And I got to pause the.
So this is the historic kitchen of the Lee Mansion. It was built about 1790, and this is the last room that we have to restore in the house. Currently, we've ripped off the modern flooring that was over top of the old flooring, the original flooring, and we're working on getting new floorboards to fix this up, and we're looking for donors to help us restore this room because we're going to do different tavern night events, and we'll have colonial dinners as well, and just another way for us to get people here and be excited about historic cooking.
Well, it's just phenomenal. You got all this work going on, and hopefully people will see my YouTube video and consider sending you a little bit of money.
That would be wonderful.
And I'll make sure to have your website linked. All right, I'm going to pause out here, and we'll go on to the next room. So it turns out that Goober the Traveling Bear is helping getting ready for the festivities tonight, and I don't know how, but he found a bottle of champagne, and as everyone knows, he does seem to get in trouble at times. So hopefully I will get him out of here without having him get passed out. All right, we're going up the stairs, and this is quite unique. Many historic sites do not allow you in the second stories. So to be allowed to go upstairs is quite cool. And
Come
Betsy,
in here to the children's room.
all right, we're heading to the children's room. Now that's really unique, these play mats.
Yes, and then we're going to have story time here, and these are little cushions for the children to sit on. They look like little wood slices.
Well, I don't know where you got them, but they're really cool. So
we're going to have children's reading programs. We're going to have make it, take it programs for children. And then this is just a place for children where they can come in and play with and explore all the different things that we have in here for them to check out. They play in the teepee, then we have fake fire, and then they have s'mores. They can roast their marshmallows. They can chop wood with a little axe. And there's a little friend for Goober.
Well, yeah. I don't know if you know it, but someone mysteriously sent us a Russian bride for Goober, which we're still trying to determine on that, but that's for another video. This room is just really unique. And do you have school groups come here too?
We weren't open for the school groups this year. I don't know that we'll have the school groups come in here because they do a lot of hands-on activities with many people around in the village, and it's kind of tricky to get everything in during the day.
Okay.
This is more for like when families come to visit and there's something for children to do.
The hands-on thing,
Yes. Yes.
which is nice to have, so the kids can touch things and
And it's okay.
it's okay.
And we're working on, we have them started, but we haven't finished them all. We've made some colonial girl dresses and boys shirts and haversacks so kids can play dress up as well and wear them through the village before they go home and pretend they're, part of the whole operation we have. The interesting thing about this building, David Lee was the miller. He owned the mill, and from the living room and this window, you can see, you have a very beautiful view of the mill from this room.
Let's see here. There we go. It's right by the flags. Very nice. And I'm going to pause here. And
So
all right.
Rebecca, we met downstairs. She lives here in the Lee Mansion. She has an apartment in here, and she's the director of the mill and this house, and coordinates a lot of the events. And she's also an artist, and this is her artist studio. If you want to come in and take a look at her.
Okay.
And she does a lot of realistic paintings of nature and food and art objects.
Okay.
And she's got a beautiful view from this window as well.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'll be getting glare for the camera, but it looks really nice. I bet in the fall that's a stunning view also with the... Very neat. Okay.
There, and that water comes up from there and then it travels.
So this is called the No
No
Name
Name
Spring. Now I have some wind out here, and I don't know what my what we'll be picking up in wind, so I won't do too much video outside. We'll pause it here. All right, we're outside, and Miss Betsy, tell me what in the world is in the background here?
So over to this side, we have the Amateur Jousting Club of Maryland that is one of our partners, and they have many of their jousting events here.
Now what is jousting?
So jousting is the Maryland state sport, and it goes back to, I don't know, medieval times where the knights and lords would get together and they would, ride on horseback with their long, I don't know what you call those.
Lances.
Lances, there you go.
So they're going to knock each other off their, are they wearing...
They're not knocking each other off, they put the lance through rings.
Okay.
And they collect the rings.
Because it'd be neat to see somebody in a big batch of armor get flopped on the ground.
And then over here is the Percy Lee Bank Barn that was arson, I think, in the late 60s. And we got a grant, we got a bond from the state of Maryland to reconstruct it. And then we're getting ready to reconstruct our barn.
Well, that is the amount of stuff you have going on here. It's really amazing how it's so nice of you to take me around and show me all these neat things. What is in the far background?
So that is the Jericho Crover Bridge.
Wow.
And it's getting ready to be repaired. So if you want to come and ride across it, you better come soon, because
Okay.
it'll be closed down for a couple months.
All right. Well, I'm going to pause our camera and we'll go on to another spot.
So this is the other end of the No Name stream that we were at earlier, and it dumps right into the Gunpowder River over here.
Okay.
And it's just such a picturesque spot, and it's just so serene here, and listening to the water. And then, of course, you get the sound of people crossing the Jericho Bridge as well. But this is such a nice spot to just sit and reflect and enjoy the scenery.
And I see you have a bench if someone wanted to just sit down and relax. And when I was here in the fall, this was just vibrant with colors and the sound of this stream. So if you're not into history, but you're into nature, you offer that too, correct?
Yes, there are many hiking trails here and lots of things to check out on the trails and be able to experience all that you can find, all the wildlife and all the beautiful flowers and foliage. And we still have fern growing here and ivy, but in the springtime it's a lot better. So if you take a look on the other side of the bridge over here, behind our little stone house that we were in, we have a little garden back there as well.
All right, well, let's cross the bridge and see some more. All right, we're in the backyard of our stone building that we did a video of earlier. And Miss Betsy, why do we have this little garden back here?
So we have this little garden back here. We do grow vegetables, but we also grow a lot of herbs. And a lot of the herbs we use to make medicinals, so if somebody's ill. But we also use the plant matter to make dyes, to dye textiles. Or we had, earlier this year, we used some of these plant matter, and we had a painting workshop, a watercolor painting workshop, and people made the paints out of the plant materials.
Wow. And I did a video earlier here in the fall, but the gate chains, they're very unique. They're at Williamsburg, and I just think there's such a nice touch that you have them here. You know, as someone opens the gate, it will close automatically with the weight. So it's nice of how you have these raised beds. And it's,
Have to, because when the river's up, it's a river runs through our garden.
and it's very much like Hugh Mercer's Apothecary in Fredericksburg, Virginia, where Goober visited there and they covered him in leeches, which he was not very happy about. All right. We're in the blacksmith shop, and Goober the Traveling Bear is going to learn about blacksmithing. And a couple weeks ago at Yorktown, Virginia, he was helping out a blacksmith, and now we're at Jerusalem Mills. And what's your name?
Hi, I'm Janice. I'm an apprentice blacksmith here at Jerusalem Mill. My mentor's name is Dave, and I've been here for a little over a year.
Cool. And so what are you working on today?
Right now, I'm working on a letter opener. I've already drawn out the metal a little bit for like the letter opener part. I'm going to round it out on the tip. And then over here, I'm going to eventually do a little, I think I'm going to do a little spiral, just for a little decorating piece. You know, it's going to be a little interesting, but yeah.
Cool. And how did you get to be in, to want to do this?
Well, me and my dad have been coming here since I was like 3 years old, and I couldn't focus on anything. But when I came here, I sat here for the amount of time a blacksmith would be here for is about 3 hours, and I could sit here. And when I was about 10 years old, I came to one of the blacksmiths, and I was like, hey, how old do you have to be to apprentice? And he was like, around 13. And then when I was 13 and a half-ish, I talked to the guy who runs the place, and he was like, yeah, no, you'll start next month. And I've been doing that for about a year.
Wow, well, that's a fantastic story, and I don't know if Goober the Bear, he is a stuffed animal, so I don't think he's going to listen very good. I think he wants to go back across the street where they have all the alcohol for tonight's party. So it was very nice to meet you, and thank you for teaching people about history.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's it for now from the blacksmith shop.